Yo, what's good, guys? Inswain with Inswain Audio. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, man, we missed you. Make sure to subscribe and join the family. Welcome. I drop tutorials just like this every single day. Who else is doing it like this? Come on. Anyways, today I'm going to be telling you how you might be using plugin presets all wrong. You're looking at it wrong. Let's get into it. Alright, so let me explain. I'm not here to say that presets are bad. Don't use presets. That's not the point of this video. What I'm saying is the presets that come in the plugins, we're not even talking about that. That's what you're doing wrong, is you're not making your own presets. When you make your own presets, you can mix much faster, more efficient. It can be more enjoyable because you're saving time, you're moving fast. And when we mix, we have a certain period of time, right, where we're in the flow state, we're in the zone. Our ears are fresh, our perspective is good, we're making the good decisions, we're feeling the song, and then eventually that time expires. Now, how long that is varies depending on who you are, the song, what day it is, all these factors, right? That's not what we're talking about. But it does have an expiration date, and we want to maximize how much work we can get done on the song during that window. And by making yourself presets, you can work faster, which is going to maximize how much you get done in that window. So let me show you a few examples of what I mean. Whenever you find yourself using settings on a plugin a lot, make yourself a preset so you can just slap that preset on and then adjust from there. Why start from 0 every time when you can start from 90% of what you're going to be doing, right? You don't always have to just slap it on and not touch it. You're free to adjust it, but it's a great starting point. Now let me show you an example. One thing that a lot of people commonly do, myself included, on a vocal is we roll off the low end, right? Not anything new or unique here, I'm saying. But if that's something common you do, why don't you make yourself a preset like I did here, right? If I just click this button once, you'll see I have a preset called a vocal startup. And I named it a vocal startup instead of just vocal startup so that it would be first alphabetically. So when I press this button, it's the first one to come up. Now I have my low cut right here already made, ready to move and adjust. Right? And it saves me a few steps from having to double click here, right? And this is not the best example because it's only saving me like one mouse click, but you get the point. Imagine if it was something that took more time to set up, how much time I'd be saving. So watch, when I go to EQ a vocal, I choose my EQ, boom, vocal startup, I got my low cut ready to start. That's the first move I'm usually making, right? Now I'm going to be making more bands, but the bands that I'm making afterwards are always changing so much that it doesn't make sense for me to put it in my preset. Now, I'm not saying you need to make this exact preset. You can, feel free to steal it from me. It's nothing crazy, but this is the idea you want to be thinking. Whenever you find yourself doing things a lot, make yourself a preset for it. All right, let me show you another example of something that's going to save me even more time. Let's say I go to use the Multiband Compressor, right? One button click, just like in the last example. We're back. I got one called Vocal Startup. And then what I got here is 4 bands. And one goes up to 200, 1K, 5K, right? These are like generally the areas that I'm compressing separately. Is like everything below 200. It's basically just the lows, the low mids, the upper mids, and the highs. That's kind of what I did. So then I can compress them individually. Now, if I were to do this manually, watch what I would have to do. Click a band, move it to 200. Click a band, move it to 1K. Click a band, move it to 5K, right? And then click your final band. It took like 10 seconds or so. So it's not like it took me forever. But if I'm using this frequently and that's how I'm going to start, I could just, boom, ready to go, ready to mix. I'm still in the zone. I'm flying. It's like I'm playing an instrument. I'm doing things on the fly. Now I can adjust it if I want to move this band. I can say, you know what? I don't need this band up here. I can get rid of it, or I can move it. I don't have my attack and release settings in the preset because those are so variable that there is never a thing that I'm using frequently. It's always different. So I didn't put it in my preset. But maybe, I don't know, in your upper mid band, you always like to use a fast attack. So put that as part of your preset. And you can adjust it later and slow up on it or change it. But it's in your preset. It's going to save you time. One bonus tip, and this is going to save you even more time, is you can take it a step further, and instead of making it a preset, you can save it as the default. So anytime you pull the plugin up, it's already there. Now, I have an actual example of this. I like to use the Waves SSL comp on my mix bus a lot. And I like to, a lot of times, use these famous settings, which is, here's a bonus tip. It's a 10 millisecond attack, auto release, and a 4 ratio. This is, for whatever reason, a very common setting that a lot of people use. And so therefore, because so many people have used it, we've heard it on so many songs on the radio and whatnot, our ears have become accustomed to it. And we kind of like it. It's kind of like a chicken and an egg. Like, it's like, are these compressor settings good because they always work, or did they always get used so we grew to like them, right? And it might be an A-B relationship back and forth. It might be both. I just know that I like how these settings sound a lot of the time. So when I pull this plugin up, by default, it's already on the 10 millisecond attack, the auto release, and the 4 ratio. So I don't need to go through and adjust that. If it was, all changed, when I pulled the plugin up, I'd have to go boom, move this, set the ratio to 4. And it's just time wasted that we don't need to. So I set this as my default, and then all I need to do is adjust my threshold. Of course, there's times where I'm like, you know what, I need a 30 millisecond attack. I'll move it, or the release, or I may want to use a different ratio, right? It happens. It's not very common, but I'm able to listen and know if I need to do that. So I'm not locking myself in to the downside of presets, which is where you always mix the same and you don't make decisions. I'm not saying to do that. I'm saying if 90% of the time you're using the same settings after listening, make that your default or make that a preset, and then you can adjust if you need to, but why change it to that every time, right? It's all about saving time, making things more enjoyable, keeps your spirits high. It just makes you make better work. Trust me, these are going to save you a lot of time. And this is just a few examples. You could do this with any plugin, any setting. You can make multiple presets. Get creative with it. I can't give you the exact formula of what's going to work for you. Only you know what you always use, but hopefully these examples inspired some things for you, got some wheels turning. And like I said, feel free to take these from me if you want. I love them. Anyways, guys, my name is Inswain with Inswain Audio. I hope this helped you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, name your firstborn child after me. I don't make the rules. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.